Hey, what's good, guys? You're watching Dismantling the Narrative with CMB 613. Today we're diving into the legacy media, the downfall, everything that went on in committee today with Travis. Got a lot to cover. Let's go over it. You might see a couple of these videos because I'm putting out a few. I want this message to get out there. Yeah, stick around all the way to the end. Thanks a lot. See you at the end.
So Canada's public broadcaster, the CBC, it's in the middle of a massive institutional crisis. We're talking accusations of bias, a toxic work culture, and powerful gatekeepers that have kicked off this huge national firestorm, shaking the very foundation of public broadcasting in the country. And this quote, delivered to Parliament by a CBC whistleblower, really gets right to the heart of it all. You see, this isn't just about the future of one organization. It's about whether public trust, once it's been broken, can ever really be put back together again. Now, these tensions, they'd been simmering for a while, but it was the testimony of one veteran journalist that brought everything to a boiling point. And all of a sudden, the CBC's top brass, its star journalists, and its entire reason for being were under this intense public microscope. And that really brings us to the central question, right? Are these recent events just an isolated incident? Or are we looking at something much deeper, a systemic problem that's been growing for years, turning what was meant to be a national unifier into a source of division? All right, so let's start with the testimony that really blew the lid off this whole thing. So at the very center of this storm, we have Travis Dhanraj. He's a journalist with a 25-year career, and until recently, he was the host of the show Canada Tonight. When he showed up before this parliamentary committee, he wasn't just there to give some simple update. No, he was there to, well, force a reckoning. Dhanraj's main accusation? It was aimed squarely at the CBC's internal culture. He painted a picture of a place where journalists who ask tough questions don't get supported. They get punished, leaving them afraid of professional blowback for, just doing their jobs. And his claims, they were incredibly specific and pretty damning. He talked about how he was personally silenced, how the broadcaster's public diversity efforts felt like mere tokenism, and how a small group of senior figures acted as gatekeepers, pushing a bias against the Conservative Party and even keeping a blacklist of sources. So, Dhanraj's testimony pointed to this centralized system of control, what he called an Ottawa club, with just immense power over what the country hears. And he actually named two senior figures as the key gatekeepers. All right, so the two main figures he accused of basically controlling who gets on air were David Cochrane and Rosemary Barton. Dhanraj alleged that Cochrane, who hosts the flagship politics show, had veto power over his guests, while Barton, the chief political correspondent, was circulating memos internally that questioned his work. Now, for a lot of critics, a key event that really cemented this idea of bias was a lawsuit back in 2019. Get this. Just 11 days before a federal election, the CBC sued the Conservative Party and named two of its top political journalists as the ones filing the suit. I mean, to many, a public broadcaster suing a political party it's supposed to be covering impartially, well, that was just staggering conflict of interest. And look, the public outcry was huge, but the shockwaves inside the CBC were just as powerful. This quote from a staffer at the time just shows you the level of disbelief and betrayal, a feeling that management had completely compromised the organization's integrity. Okay, let's move on to maybe the most concrete piece of evidence Dhanraj brought forward, this so-called blacklist. This is where the whole idea of systemic bias goes from being about culture to a specific, tangible thing. Dhanraj told the committee he was literally handed a list of about 45 Canadians, politicians, other journalists included, and was explicitly told, do not contact these people for your show. So this gets us to a really crucial point, the interpretation. Was this a blacklist, like Dhanraj claims, designed to shut down certain voices? Or was it, as CBC management insists, just a simple booking protocol to stop different shows from tripping over each other trying to get the same guests? Now, to push back on that whole booking protocol argument, Dhanraj gave a very specific example. He said that when a conservative politician, who was actively boycotting another CBC show, agreed to come on his show, management still shut the interview down. That suggested the goal wasn't just about logistics, but about protecting the power of certain hosts over the public's right to know. But This whole crisis isn't just about who controls the stories. It's also about money, specifically financial accountability, and the feeling that the CBC is deeply disconnected from the taxpayers who foot the bill for over $1 billion a year. This whole financial disconnect really came into focus after a big controversy. After announcing hundreds of layoffs, the CBC got hammered for giving out millions in executive bonuses. Well, the very next year, they quietly approved a massive increase in salary raises, from $11.5 million to a whopping $37.7 million. The Canadian Taxpayers Federation, they had a name for this. They called it a sleight of hand. The CBC got rid of the bonuses that looked bad, but then more than made up for it with even bigger, permanent pay raises. In the end, the total amount of money going out the door actually went up. And if you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, the number of people at the CBC earning six-figure salaries, well, it's jumped by over 300% since 2015. That is a stark contrast to the private media world, which has been dealing with constant cuts and downsizing. So you take all these threads, the bias allegations, the gatekeeping, the questions about money, and they all come together in this fundamental political battle over whether the CBC should even exist. And the future of the CBC? It's now become this really stark political choice. On one side, you've got the Conservatives arguing it's a biased, redundant service that needs to be defunded, and on the other side you have the Liberals, who call it essential democratic infrastructure and want to boost its funding by $150 million. But you know, in the middle of all this, whistleblowers like Dhanraj aren't just pointing fingers. They're actually proposing solutions. His formal recommendations to Parliament lay out a pretty clear roadmap for reform, and it's all about transparency, accountability, and taking apart these systems of control. And this quote really nails the core challenge here. The CBC's survival might literally depend on its ability to reconnect with huge parts of the country that feel alienated or just plain ignored by what it puts on the air. The big existential question is whether it can be a broadcaster for all Canadians, not just some of them. Which leaves us with one last, really crucial question. In a country that's this polarized, can a taxpayer-funded broadcaster actually rise above the political fighting? Or is it just destined to become another weapon in a partisan war? The answer to that is going to define the future of media in Canada.
Hey everybody, like I said, thank you very much for sticking around till the end. Like and subscribe if you agree with what was said in this video. If you disagree, let me know what you think I got wrong in the comments and whatnot. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. You're a legend. For that, I wanted to show you guys my new song and music video. Well, it's not a music video, it's a visual, but anyways, a new song that I finally dropped. I've been trying to come out with some music for a long time, but I haven't gotten to where I wanted to be yet. Now I have, so you guys will be the first ones to see it. Let's check out the video.
When are you fucking people gonna wake up and realize that these motherfuckers are here trying to ruin our country? Opening up the borders for the bad actors to come in and take over our country. Come on now, open up your eyes. Look at these motherfuckers in their lives, the deceiving ways. Look at what they're doing to our way of life. Can't you see it? Don't you wanna stop it? Are you okay with it? You can't be. This can't be what you want for our country. Come on now, are you kidding me? Why would you want other people's culture taking over our culture? That doesn't make sense to me, doesn't at all. And I'm getting sick of the empathy and all of the sympathy. It's suicidal empathy, suicidal sympathy. Come on people, wake up, use your motherfucking eyes. Don't let these motherfuckers gaslight you into believing in lies. You gotta figure it out, you gotta do your own research. You gotta follow the doubt, you gotta open your eyes. Quit believing in the media too, these motherfuckers all lie to you. They will tell you whatever they need to just to get you to believe in the liberal way. cause they're all liberal too. David Cochrane doesn't care about this country. Rosemary, Barton, she doesn't care about this country. They only care about pushing their political views and fucking ideology on me and on you. If they really cared, they would be open to debate, open to actually having people on their shows that aren't pushing their worldview. But they do, so they don't let none of that shit slide. They don't let none of the adversaries talk about anything. Why? Cause they're afraid of the messes that they're bringing gets left at the wayside. Cause why? Cause it is just a bunch of bullshit. Fucking magic word wizardry. Come on people, let's do something. We gotta do something. Quit letting these motherfuckers ruin our country.